What's up, desktopers? Xavier Wills here for Desktop Bodybuilding, and we are back with another video. And today I'm discussing Nathan Asha. We've got new posing footage from him in Oxygen Gym in Kuwait. Nick Walker's plans to win the 2021 Mr Olympia title in a recent video. Josh Lenartowicz is a comeback on the cards for him. Roelly Winklaar out of Tampa, but we've got a new physique update for him, plus physique updates from Regan Grimes, Patrick Moore, James Hollingshead, Akim Williams, and more. So let's get straight into it. I'm going to start with Josh Lenartowicz and his potential comeback to the bodybuilding stage, plus his message for people in lockdown. So let's get into it. So Joe's progression tagged me in on this as well. It was under one of Josh Lenartowicz's photos. He said to Josh, he said, "I can only imagine how great it'd be to see you on stage again." Josh replied and said, "At Joe's progression, 2022 or 23, I'll be on, only jumping on stage when I'm ready to win. A whole lot of times I competed knowing I wouldn't win, but the exposure was good for my brand." Then Joe tagged me in there as well. So shout out to Joe's progression on Instagram there. And Josh Lenartowicz also said, "At what point does the damage from these lockdowns override the damage from COVID? People are at breaking point, mental health, suicides, business closures, and the list goes on. Hashtag we are not in this together." Now, Victoria just went into lockdown, which is where Josh Lenartowicz is located. Also New South Wales and Queensland, so it's pretty much the whole eastern side of Australia. I'm not sure about South Australia. I think they're out of lockdown, and where I am, Western Australia, we're not in lockdown either. So I'm fortunate in that regard. But just flying around Australia is impossible right now, and many parts of the world are like that as well. So to anyone that's actually in lockdown right now, my heart goes out to you, especially people that are struggling. Their businesses are closed. They can't see their partners. They can't see their kids, all that sort of stuff. It's absolutely heartbreaking. So shout out to everyone that's going through it. And hopefully my videos, at least if you're watching these, give you some sort of enjoyment. I'm going to have some longer form podcasts as well released after this, and heaps of coverage from this weekend's Tampa Pro and the comps that are coming up afterwards as well. But back to Josh Lenartowicz and his comeback to a bodybuilding stage, hopefully in 2022 or 2023. Now, this guy has finished top 10 in the Olympia. He's finished top 3 in the Arnold Classic, and people are sort of forgetting about him. He hasn't been able to compete the last couple of years due to COVID, but if he makes a comeback to the bodybuilding stage, I think he can do extremely well. He obviously had a few health issues as well. I've actually got to give Josh Lenartowicz a call too, because I've been meaning to do that for a few weeks, but I've been going through my own sort of stuff as well. But I can't wait to see him come back to the bodybuilding stage, because he can do some serious damage on that Olympia stage, not just in these smaller shows as well, where he seems to pick up wins pretty easy. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Can Josh Lenartowicz make a very successful comeback to the bodybuilding stage? Now, Patrick Moore at 9 weeks out, looking pretty damn awesome. He's in condition, pretty far out from this contest as well. Now, Patrick Moore competed at Olympia a few years ago. Everyone thought he's going to make these huge gains and then come back and, be placing really high at the Olympia. Sort of, he did the Arnold Classic and sort of, I wouldn't say he was a complete letdown. I mean, he just was slightly off his conditioning, and a guy that, lacks a little bit of muscle compared to some of the other guys. He really got absolutely slammed for it, but I think he looks pretty damn good here. And I want to get your guys' opinion as well. Will Patrick Moore bring his best to the 2021 Mr Olympia, and can he crack the top 10 this year? Let me know what you think in the comments below. And on to Akim Williams, 9 weeks out of that 2021 Mr Olympia. Now, he's not in contest shape yet. Obviously, he did win that Puerto Rico Pro Show, which is sort of an awkward amount of time out from Mr Olympia. I think it was probably about 16 weeks out of a Mr Olympia, maybe 15. So he's got that sort of awkward time period where he's in great shape already, and he has to sort of, add a little bit of body fat back, maybe a little bit of water, and then bring it back down again, because it's extremely hard to stay in that contest shape year round. So when you compare him to some of these other guys, like a Nick Walker now, who's been, having a longer dieting process since the New York Pro, then you go, oh, he's not in good shape. But I think he's right on track for Akim Williams here, and he needs to give his body that little bit of a break as well. But I think he's looking fantastic at 9 weeks out, and it'll be interesting to see if he can bring his best to the 2021 Mr Olympia and place him at top 6 once again. Now, James Hollingshead, there's a posing video from him here. Now, he said we weren't going to get a physique update until about 6 to 7 weeks out. Obviously, he probably saw this video of himself and thought, I've got to post this up, because he looks pretty damn impressive after having all that time off with COVID as well. He's right on track, and his body's probably feeling fresh, at least somewhat, even though he was sick. All the tendons and joints and everything heal up a little bit, and he's probably able to go a little bit harder at this point as well. So I can't wait to see how he does at that 2021 Mr Olympia in his Mr Olympia debut. Our next physique update is Regan Grimes, just over 9 weeks out of a 2021 Mr Olympia where he's already qualified, being coached by Dorian Hamilton of HD Muscle. Now, the thing for Regan was that he needed to add size to be competitive at a Mr Olympia and potentially place top 10. And he also needed to bring that dry conditioning, which I think he's lacked a little bit over the last few years. He's always coming in condition, but it hasn't been that sort of dry look that everyone's wanted to see. Now, that might be a time thing. We know that some guys, might take a couple of years to get that sort of bit more drier look to the muscle. But if he can bring a little bit more of that, if he can bring that extra size, then he has a distinct possibility based on these recent updates of placing top 10 or at least improving on his placing from last year's Mr Olympia. But let me know what you think in the comments below about these recent physique updates from Regan Grimes. Now on to Roelly Winklaar, and it seems official that he's actually out of that 2021 Tampa Pro sunbaking by the pool over there in Kuwait with Vlad Sukarochku, who's actually competing against at that Spain show in just a week's time. Now Roelly posted up this physique update looking absolutely crazy full. Like, his arm is ridiculous. It looks like it's full of veins, and I think that's what Roelly needs to do, because in reality, like at the last show, he was either flat or he'd lost a little bit of muscle or didn't have enough time to put the muscle back on, because he did have 7 weeks off training due to COVID, and then he sort of went straight into a prep. So whichever it was, if it is a flatness issue especially, and also a muscle issue, he can sort of, he's not going to gain a lot of muscle back, but if he can sort of fill out a little bit, because his conditioning didn't seem bad. It seemed more of an issue that he was flat and just didn't look conditioned by virtue of being flat as well. So if he can fill up and be super, super big and still bring that conditioning, and, maybe he doesn't have all the size back to his legs and whatnot as well, but if he can come in much fuller, then that may be a much better look for Roelly Winklaar, and he'll actually be able to contend against a guy like maybe Nathan Asha. Now, Nathan Asha, new Oxygen Gym posing video coming out, posted up and said this, just a little something from a few days ago, 121 kilograms. I'll put the pounds up on the screen as well so you guys can see that. Little flat, no issue. Ain't no Caucasian dry, but it's black knees around. After 3 weeks of dieting this. Probably about 20% sharper as I post this. So Nathan Asha gets in shape incredibly quickly. I've seen it in the past from different physique updates, and I'm like, oh, okay, he's, looks like he's going to be struggling to make it, and then he just gets really, really sharp really quick. So, and he's the biggest he's ever been as well. He said this in one of the comments as well, says my heaviest to date, and brought the lagging parts up a bit. So he's obviously, concentrating on a few body parts, making improvements, and if he's improved from last time he went on stage, which was very, very good, winning pro show sort of good, then he's going to be very, very hard to beat at that Europa Pro in Spain, even up against the likes of Roelly Winklaar, Vlad Sukarochku, and a bunch of other names as well. But let me know what you think about how Nathan Asha is looking. When you actually look at the video, it's hard to tell because it's quite a way back, but you can actually see that there are details in his hamstrings, and he does have some details there. So when he dries out, and he says he's harder now already, then I think he's going to be a very good version of Nathan Asha at that Europa Pro in Spain. Now, Nick Walker plans on winning the 2021 Mr Olympia in a bold statement that he released in a video that went up on YouTube recently, and here's what he had to say.
Competing, especially my first Olympia, is absolutely the world to me. I remember when I was younger, I had 2 goals when I started competing. I said I wanted to win New York Pro, my first time, and I wanted to win the Olympia my first time. I achieved 1 already, and in 11 weeks, I will be my Olympia debut, which I plan on winning. And that is, obviously what we know as the Super Bowl for bodybuilding. And I remember, even now, when I still say that, people, laugh, think I'm delusional, think I'm an idiot, think I'm cocky, think I'm arrogant. And that's not the case. I'm just very confident in my abilities. I'm very confident in my hard work. I'm very confident what I'm capable of, and I'm very confident in what I've done already, and what I keep on doing.
So if you want to watch that full video, the link is in the description below as well. So Nick's never been shy about, stating what he wants to achieve and when he wants to achieve it. And this is obviously his boldest statement to date. I remember him saying that he wanted to place top 5 or top 6 in the Olympia. I think that he sort of scrapped that mentality when he's into the prep, and now he's saying he wants to win. He even got blowback from saying he wanted to be top 5 or top 6 in the Olympia as well. So no doubt there's going to be a few people talking about this and giving him a little bit of blowback. But you can see by the physique updates on the screen right now, had you told me this was Nick Walker in 2 years' time and he's contending for the Olympia and this is what he looked like, I'd say, yeah, seems about right. It looks like an Olympia contending physique. That's how crazy he is looking right now. Now, will he be shown up standing next to a big Rami? Will he be shorter than Rami? Does all the mass overwhelm him at the Olympia? The Arnold Classic, will he be out conditioned? Will he be out, I suppose maturity-wise of the muscle in terms of like a guy like William Bonac and Ian Valliere and whatnot at that Arnold Classic? It's going to be very, very interesting because he could actually go on to win the Arnold Classic potentially, but it's going to be very hard against the likes of, William Bonac and all those other names, Sergio Oliva Jr. and everyone else that's going to be in that lineup as well. But let me know, how well do you think Nick Walker can do at the 2021 Arnold Classic? Can he actually win it? And can he potentially shock the bodybuilding world and win that 2021 Mr. Olympia? Let me know in the comments below on that one. Now, guys, I encourage you to check out the latest episode of Heavy Muscle Radio on RX Muscle's YouTube channel, where I appeared on there with Chris Aceto, John Romano, and Dave Palumbo. I think I jump in at around 10 to 15 minutes into the show, but here's a short clip from that video.
Breakfast is brekkies over there, right?
Yeah, brekkie. When I don't know what you guys call it when like tradies have their first break, call it smoko over here. I don't know why.
No, smoko.
That. Yeah. But and it's funny, I get clients as well, and they say, "Oh yeah, for smoko I have this." Like it just sounds weird to me that they use that sort of description.
What? Smoke? Say that again.
So when when a tradie will have like a tradie, I don't even know who what a tradie is. It's someone who does a trade. So
a tradie is someone who works like the construction, John.
Oh, okay. I thought he said tranny at first. And I thought, like, get Greg on the show.
So I hope you guys enjoyed that. The link is in the description below if you want to watch that full episode. And I want to give a few shout outs on this episode as well to tattooed_fitgirl on Instagram, sending me the Janet Leuk story. Also, Giles Tiger Thomas from MD. He's actually going to be the live stream host for that 2021 Europa Pro in Spain next weekend, which I'll be covering on this channel as well. Also, happy birthday to Jay Cutler, Nick Walker, and what would have been Luke Sando's birthday the other day as well. I actually put up a clip of me when I interviewed Luke Sando. That's up on my Instagram page as well. The link to my Instagram is in the description below as well. So that's it for this video. If you guys like and appreciate this content, please give this video a thumbs up, smash that like button, also subscribe and hit the notification bell button. That way you'll be notified of every video that goes up for myself, Xavier Wills at Desktop Bodybuilding. So for Xavier Wills, Desktop Bodybuilding, we are out.